Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at strategy. It is time for another update, and on this chart we have been tracking two main scenarios, and within both of them we are looking for a quite similar outcome really, as within both scenarios, white and yellow, we are looking for a wave 4 correction, and currently we are within the area of support of both scenarios, and we are looking for a wave 5 to take us to higher prices, which is also part of a diagonal structure within both interpretations, yeah? So within both scenarios, we only expect to build here within the wave 5 an A, B, C structure. Now, to be clear, on this chart, it is also very much a possibility that we are looking at a series of 1-2 setups, but it might have rather unrealistic expectations, and that is not going to be a primary focus for us. Now, other than this, of course, other scenarios are possible. We could be looking even at extensions within either wave 3 in this area, white and yellow, but it doesn't really matter from a practical point of view, as the area of support we would be tracking for this interpretation would basically go as deep as the white area of support. It would extend down to the 78.6% retracement, which is literally on top of the 61.8% retracement we are tracking in the yellow interpretation. And for those reasons, yeah, it's not going to be necessarily a focus, as we have a possible full count within both interpretations in a wave 3. And by the way, if you value these areas of support and these roadmaps we provide here, I would strongly recommend to subscribe, as we actually offer this on very many stocks and on very many different timeframes for each of those stocks. Now, in the white scenario, we are looking at a leading diagonal. Ideally, this is the outcome interpretation. It might be rather difficult to determine which of these patterns will be the outcome, and I won't go into the details of what might give us some hints, because yes, we are looking maybe for different proportions in the wave 4, maybe for different proportions in a follow-up wave 5. But regardless of that, yes, it will be difficult to determine, and overall, if we manage to follow through within the white expectation, we would have a larger leading diagonal, which is an initial 5-wave move to the upside, which would provide us the ability to look for a high probability support zone in a larger wave 2 correction, yeah? We would be looking for a larger 1-2 setup. And then, in the yellow interpretation, we are looking really for a more substantial top within an A, B, C structure. I probably prefer the white scenario, and I wouldn't overthink this really. This would assume that we would have a larger top in place within a 3-wave pattern, but the proportions are quite off, and we have been tracking the yellow interpretation more for the purpose of having a closer area of support and just to see how this idea develops. But overall, yes, we prefer the white interpretation to be forming for this chart. Now, in the smaller time frame, we have been focusing on the idea of an A, B, C pattern to be taking place, yeah? We had this orange interpretation for quite some time already, and within this wave C, we have been tracking the idea of an impulse to be forming. Now, for this expectation, we would have the wave 1 in place, the wave 2 in place, and the wave 3 would have already possibly been in place since the previous video. We did track the idea of continuation to lower prices within this wave 3, but we also provided the resistance levels to watch for such an expectation between $140 all the way up to $195, where if we get a break above the 50% retracement, we would have a pretty good indication that a more substantial bottom would actually be in place. Now, as I was saying, we were tracking extensions to lower prices ideally within this structure, within this wave 3, and that is why we had this blue interpretation on the chart, where we were looking for an ending diagonal to be taking place in this wave 5 to the downside in orange. Within this structure, as we were tracking an overall impulse, we were expecting to build a 5-wave move within the wave 1, 3, and 5. We didn't have a quite clear 5-wave pattern within the wave 5, so yes, we would have preferred to form one more low before considering a wave 3 bottom in place, but we did acknowledge the possibility of having already that bottom in place with something like a built-in internal wave 5. And as we always say, it does happen, especially towards the end of a larger trend, that we do not get that last leg to the downside, that sometimes we plainly miss it. Sometimes we get a truncation, sometimes it is built in, and for the purposes of this structure, we have more than enough evidence that we will not be seeing an extension still within this wave 5 that builds this larger wave 3. Yeah, we have pushed beyond the resistance area already. We have already a quite substantial wave 4 correction as well. And yes, for all of those reasons, we cannot really trust a wave 5 to still be building. And if I want to, just to be clear, for an example, I could consider the wave 1 to have bottomed here. I could consider the wave 2 to have topped here, the wave 3 to have bottomed here, the wave 4 topped here, and then this to have bottomed within a wave 5. Yeah? Very simply, we found a way to allow this pattern to be complete. Certainly a less favorable structure, but I want to highlight that overthinking is not something we need to do. Yes, we do not have an ideal structure within this area. Yes, we would have liked to see another low, but yes, we can consider this pattern to be complete. And now we fully focus on the resistance area where we consider a wave 3 bottom is in place and we are looking for the wave 4 correction. Now, in this wave 4, we are looking typically for a 3-wave pattern. Since this is part of a larger impulse, this structure could also be building a triangle, but it doesn't seem to be the case, at least at the moment, and I am currently tracking in this movement exactly an A, B, C structure. So, within this wave C, I am of course looking to build a 5-wave pattern, and it seems rather likely that this will be forming an ending diagonal if it is to succeed in building such a structure, where currently I would be looking for this wave 3 to still extend to higher prices, where internally, if we go in the even smaller time frame, we can identify an A wave up to be in place, a B wave down, and then a C wave that would actually be expected to form one more additional high at the very least to be able to more reliably track a top. Now, we should probably change some of these degrees as it is confusing with all of these counts on top of the other. And within this wave C, I am looking once again to build a 5-wave pattern which seems to be unfolding within the idea of an ending diagonal, and within this 5-wave pattern I would consider it possible to have the wave 3 top in place. We can notice that we have reached the ideal target, so we really wouldn't require any further extensions than this, but at the same time, the retracement in this wave 4 is quite substantial already, and I would typically expect not to break below the 61.8% retracement. So ideally, we are holding here above $140.3, where we can notice quite clearly that we have actually already touched this last level of support, and unless we form a reversal from the current prices, we could still be looking for this idea of a wave 3 extension in an A, B, C pattern, which would allow a deeper retracement. But already, if we break below $140, I would see this as a warning sign that perhaps a more substantial top would already be in place within this as a larger wave 4 to the upside. And actually, let me change the colors of this entire correction, as I believe it would be easier to track to better understand which wave 4 is part of the large degree count. And on top of this, I wouldn't go into more detail, into more depth than this within the smaller time frame. I would leave you with one thought. Once we have this next wave to the downside, that we expect to be a wave 5, we wouldn't require any additional extensions to lower prices to consider this count as full. Technically, we could have a bottom in place, but once again, I am waiting for some evidence. Either I want to see a break above $195 or an initial 5-wave move to the upside, which based on the current structure, yes, this initial 5-wave move to the upside would be expected by me to break the area of resistance as well. I would find it quite difficult for this structure to actually manage to build a 5-wave pattern within this area of resistance. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership, and as a thank you for any of these actions, I would like to invite you to sign up to our channel newsletter where you get access to our monthly top picks where we identify for you high quality structures. The link is in the description and it is completely free. Other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.